Hi there guys, welcome back to another video. So today's video is dyeing your own hair extensions. So I was inspired by, like the Kylie Jenner extensions that are really big right now and stuff like that, and I thought, well, those are really expensive. We could do that ourselves. So the first thing that you have to do in preparation for any kind of dyeing is prepare all your supplies. So the first thing is what you're going to paint on. I'm going to use this recycled tin foil. You can use plastic wrap, a garbage bag, any kind of surface that can get the hair dye on it and won't leak through to stain your countertop below. And then to protect your skin from staining, you should always have a pair of rubber gloves. You can use regular hair dye gloves. I'm using a little heavier quality gloves. Then you should always protect your clothing, so either wear some clothes that you don't mind getting stained or wear an apron. Then of course you have to have your paintbrush. This is the kind that I have, just a regular hair dye type paintbrush. And then last of all you have to have your hair dye. So I will show you some of the ones that I have worked with. So here I have some Crazy Color, Manic Panic, and Directions. Now, before we get started, I'm going to first show you what I have already made on my own. So the first hair extension that I made is this one. You can't see very good. Okay, hold on. There we go. It's neon green, and I made that using Manic Panic Amplified Neon Electric Lizard. And this is human hair that I've used to make these extensions. Then the next one I have here is this turquoise ombre. Starts out dark, then it goes really light. This is like a patina greenish blue type color. The thing about this particular color is that it does fade, and that's what it fades to. So I prematurely aged it by taking a rubber band and sectioning off the bottom section, and then what I did is I let this part soak in hot water and very strong non-sulfate free type shampoo. I used Head and Shoulder dandruff shampoo to strip it, and after a matter of minutes this is the color it became. So it went from that to this. But I kind of like that look. That's what I was going for. That's specifically what I wanted. And the color that I used on that was Manic Panic Amplified Atomic Turquoise. Then the next one that I have here, another two-tone, where we start with pink at the top, a very pale type pink, and go into cotton candy type periwinkle-like blue. In order to achieve that, I used Crazy Color, Candy Floss, and Bubblegum Blue. So these are the kind of things that you can do, and then all you have to do is just sew some clips on it and clip it into your hair, and that's it. You're ready. Now we're going to get into what we are making brand new today. So the first thing that I have is I have our piece of hair. So here's the strip of hair we're going to work with today. Okay, I get my tin foil lined up, put my hair on it. There we go. And of course I'm doing an ombre type look, so I'm not going to have the whole thing covered. So I'm going to put my gloves on. Today the color combination that I'm going to make is I'm going to use this here Directions brand, and this is a very hot pink, and this is a very light blue. So it's going to be pink and blue. Pink on the top and light blue on the bottom. So first, open your container, dip your brush into it, and start painting. Be sure to hold down the hair so that it doesn't move while you're painting. So obviously the very top I want to stay blonde. So I'm going to kind of keep my hand there, and then I'm going to start painting and brush downward. Sometimes you get little stickies. And then I could go down a little farther. No problem. Okay, so now I feel that I have painted enough pink. There's that much left for blue. So now I'm going to rinse my brush off. Okay, and now I'm going to get ready for the Lagoon Blue. They want the hair to be dry when you apply this coloring. Now all this dye is semi-permanent. However, there are companies out there that make dye that's a little more permanent. But the guideline is, in order to make your color last, because the one problem with all these hair dyes is the color does seem to fade. You know, you get something like a pink, a nice bubblegum pink will fade to basically nothing. A red will fade to a hot pink or a light pink. Green will fade to yellow and then nothing. You saw how the turquoise faded to a really nice kind of bluish greenish. And that is that. Now you can do the back, you could flip it over, pull it off the tinfoil and flip it over and do the back. But in this particular circumstance, the hair is so thin and it's such a small piece that I'm pretty sure it's well saturated on both sides. Alright, so you wash your brush out real good, wash your gloves off. Then what you do is you close up your tin foil. That, and like that. You could even do one more time, just to really seal it, and seal the bottom. And then put that away. See how easily it stains? So I'll have to hit that with some kind of bleach later. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you is one that I have already done. So here is one that has been sitting in tinfoil. Now the deal about it is that if you look on the bottle, it says you can leave it for 30 minutes, an hour, a couple of hours, but because this type product, these semi-permanent hair dyes, do not have any harsh chemicals in them, you can leave it for days. You can leave it as long as you want to. So this particular piece of hair that I have here, this has been in here since Wednesday, so that it can have the optimum absorption of color so that it can be as bright as possible. Okay, let's see here. So be very careful when you're opening this, when you're finally ready to tend to it, because all the hair dye will still be wet and ooey gooey. And there we go. That's what we're looking at. Let's get a close-up of that. There you go. See? Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're now going to rinse this off in the sink. Still have our gloves on because at this point, like I said, it still can be staining. So lift it off of the tin foil, close that up real nice and neat so you can get rid of it without creating more of a mess. And in my case, I have the ombre going on here, so I want to keep my hands covering the top part because there could be potential transfer. So just rinse it with cold water. Now this one here is the cotton candy pink, so it's very, very, very light. But that's what I wanted on this one. Then what you can do is you can put some shampoo on it. At the moment I'm using this here shampoo. It is sulfate free. Just wash it up. Just to make sure there's no other hair dye in there. Let's get it nice and sudsy. And then rinse it again. Cold water. If you use hot water, it's going to make the color fade faster. And as it is, these colors, depending how often you wash your hair, if you only wash your hair 3 times a week or something, and you use sulfate-free shampoo and you use cold temperature water, maybe you can get your color to last like a month or 2. So now it is ready to be hung up and dried.